So tell me about the return to work policy.
At Daniel's Fitness Group, we don't just provide the gym facilities for people that are in work, but we also work with HR and occupational health to ensure that we're looking after staff across the organisation. The return to work policy has been brought in as a result of musculoskeletal injuries that may be preventing somebody from returning to work, and that's where we brought Julie in to help us with this procedure.
Okay, and how does that work in the practice then?
Okay, what happens in practice is that we will be working with a client and identify that there is an issue with somebody being absent from work due to an injury of some kind. Mostly smaller businesses, medium businesses, they need people back at work as quickly as possible. And what we will do is work with the Daniel's Fitness Group to identify the most appropriate provider of help, whether that's a physio or some other medical practitioner, and then work with our client to look and agree a programme of getting that person back to work as quickly as possible.
Okay. And how can you prevent injuries in reoccurring?
So once somebody has been through the return to work procedure, and Julie has facilitated the procedure of seeing a private doctor, a physiotherapist, there then is a very important stage where we need to get the person back into the workplace. So at that stage we will assess and then put in an appropriate programme for that individual, taking into account their workplace environment and the work that they're carrying out on a daily basis. And then we can help them to build a programme which will work with their muscles to balance them from a biomechanical point of view and create strength and stability and prevent those injuries from reoccurring.
And that is with each and every employee within the business?
We work with the return to work as is appropriate, so with the individual that has the problem. But very often, if we're working within an environment that has a manual workforce, we may find that there are reoccurring injuries of a similar nature. And when this happens, we'll put in an appropriate workshop, back care or RSI issues to ensure that we can help across the organisation.
Okay. And what are the benefits to the client?
Well, a key benefit is that staff are back at work much more quickly than they would be if they were perhaps using the NHS support services for things like physiotherapy. The importance of that is there's twofold. One, it's if they're paying them whilst they're off, then the cost of that is reduced significantly. But also, if people are off work a long time, there's a psychological impact in terms of getting them back to work is much harder the longer they're actually absent from work. And also the pace at which things move on in business means that the actual integration back into the workforce is much harder the longer the person's absent. It also puts more pressure on other employees who are covering for somebody's absence. So, all in all, it's a much more effective thing to get people back into work as quickly as possible.
And I think also it's interactive, which means that we actually have an excuse now to be able to be talking with the individual that's off work and give them the support that they need to ensure that they're brought back into the workplace. From a psychological point of view, that's very important for the individual who is at home and psychologically as well as physiologically impaired.